Доверять процессу. In other words, trust the process. This is the approach Kirill Prihidni has embodied his entire career as the captain of arguably one of the most dominant programs in tournament history, the Russian Legion. Winning isn't just a result for the Moscow native, it's a formula. And when you're in the lab with this legend, you don't question the methods to his madness, as every machine needs its driving force. Find out about his journey to setting the standard for excellence and plenty more on this episode of the AG21 Show. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 17 of the AG21 Show. We've got the captain of Moscow Russian Legion, Kirill Prihidni, hanging with us today. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, yeah. Tournament and the whole season starts actually tomorrow, so it's pretty shaky, but it's good to have such kind of a feelings before the season and make the interview right before the season starts.
Nice. And we're in Las Vegas now. How are the travels for you?
The travels was really nice actually, because we since 2013 we probably come and practice at Camp Pendleton. It's like 5 hours away driving from Vegas. Great town, great practice facility, great teams always out there. So we like this direction. It usually took us like 14, 15 hours to fly. Yeah, then a couple of hours to drive from LA, and we there. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And Kirill, you're 32 years old now. You've been doing this for quite some time. At this stage of your career as a veteran, how's your body feeling as an athlete? Are you still feeling the same as you were when you were 20 years old?
So I'm doing it for 18 years, probably since the 2000. And I must admit that I feel myself better than I felt myself in 22.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've been a fatty. And by playing paintball, by going into the Russian Legion program, I have become a sportsman. So my physical tests are better than ever. I understand my body better than ever. I am well coordinated. I know what I should do and what I shouldn't do for sure.
Yeah.
So that's what it means to be a veteran.
Yeah,
actually.
It's so funny. One of the most iconic football players in America, Tom Brady, he talks about this all the time. And he's 40 years old now. But he says right now he feels like he's in the best shape of his life because he knows how to take care of his body now. And when he was younger, he didn't know how to take care of his body. Maybe that's, with his diet, right? Like what he's eating or how much he's hydrating, how much he's stretching, staying away from certain things. As far as, keeping up your body and maintaining that peak performance, what's some of those things that you've learned over the span of your paintball career that you're doing now for your body that maybe you weren't doing or didn't have the knowledge of when you were younger?
So it's, of course, the correct nutrition. You need to feed well, just normal standard food without like any extras. Of course, you shouldn't do the McDonald's every day, right? Then, of course, vitamins, because sometimes it's not enough of food that you take to recover after different types of the fitness activity that you perform. And, of course, the sleeping regime is also like a very important part. Yeah, if you want to be fresh next day, you're supposed to sleep well. Yeah, and if you want to be fresh after the flight, once again, you're supposed to sleep well. If you want to be fresh, well thinking, reactive, you should get ready to fight against the jet lag, not in 3 days or 4 days, but right next day. And once again, like some features as melatonin are coming to help you out. Yeah, when I was young, I was just fighting. Yeah, just fighting with this. Now I just fly over to US, I take the melatonin, I sleep well and deep, I wake up, next day I'm already okay. The same way going to Moscow or like going from Moscow to European events, if I feel that I don't want to sleep for some reason, but I know that next day is a big day, I just take this pill and sleep well, deep all night long, and I'm fresh and good. And during the winter time, when your body doesn't have enough of the vitamins naturally, you must take some vitamins.
What are some of those vitamins that you're taking?
The Optiman is actually the best one.
Okay.
Yeah. And right now I'm taking some type of a mix of the vitamins, like something with the vitamins D, some type of a fish fat,
Fish oil pills.
fish oil
for your
pills,
joints.
yeah, all that stuff.
Very cool, very cool. And after a long weekend of playing paintball, what are some strategies you use to recover? Do you use ice therapy at all for your body? Any heat therapy at all for your body?
Well, in Russian tradition, it's very usual to visit the sauna,
Yeah.
or a banya, how we call it in a different way. And it actually recovers really well. So get like into the very hot conditions and then go into like a cold ice water afterwards,
Yeah.
like 3 rotations like this. Your blood starts to flow in a great conditions. Your muscles relaxing. And after like the whole week or even like a big weekend when you feel sore, you just go to banya for 3 hours and you feel yourself like a baby born.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Russia's pretty cold, so if I ever visited, I might have to just be hanging out in the sauna the whole time.
It's not colder than the East Coast right now. Actually.
Yeah. Well, so before we dive into paintball, I'd love to get to know, what are you up to off the field? Because, the Kirill I know is always wearing a Russian Legion jersey. But I've never gone in depth with you on, things you're up to off the field in Russia, whether that's work-related, whether that's fun-related, different things like that. So I would love, for you to tell us some of those things.
I'm a big nerd.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big paintball nerd. Before paintball, I've been trying to make different sports like big tennis, like judo. But when I experienced paintball, all other sports went behind. Yeah, and after I joined Russian Legion and had a chance to work for the club as a sponsor relations manager and designing manager and different other types of the managers, like managing all little things, it comes up that almost all of my personal time is there, is about paintball, is about team, is about the future planning, next season, practicing, designing, practicing, managing, practicing. And then I have some time to spend with my family. So I'm actually the person that likes to spend weekends and evenings with my wife. I like to go to her parents. We like to go to my parents during the weekends. So that's the best therapy and time that I like to spend. Yeah, and of course during the off season or during the season, maybe sometimes we have a good chance to travel somewhere. Yeah, and spend like a couple of weeks somewhere in the middle of the season and in the end of the season. It also helps to get away a little bit from my routine, my wife's routine, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know. You play such a long season. Russian Legion competes not only in America, in the NXL,
Europe too,
but you also compete in Europe
EXL,
as well.
yeah, now, and we play the Russian Federation of Paintball tournament series that are called Russian Cup in Moscow during the summertime. So yeah, 3 series that we play.
And when the off season comes around, do you feel the need to decompress, to get away sometimes, maybe go on a vacation to free your mind a little bit?
Yeah, sure. It always happens like that, and we have almost like a small tradition with my wife that she comes to the World Cup, and we spend like a couple of weeks in U.S. just together, just for ourselves, and it helps a lot to clear your mind, to start thinking about something else. But sooner or later, all thoughts are coming to paintball again,
and you can't escape it.
Yeah. And I think that you are an artist, yeah, by the things that you're making right now. Yeah, it's kind of a hobby, yeah, let's say. So I'm making the same hobby, but once again in paintball sphere. Like in 2011, with Patrick Robel from Germany, from Syndicate, there was an idea to make the educational project, talent system. But we made a couple of videos, but in the end, the structure wasn't right. We didn't have a chance to launch like a nice site for that. And finally, in 2016, I believe, I decided to restart this thing, but only for the Russian market. And
cool.
yeah, and me with my partner, we are doing like videos on the YouTube channel,
Very
educational things for Russian players. Making some pictures for that, like some designs, graphics, and looks like in the end of March we're gonna come with the first ever paintball app.
No kidding.
No kidding, yeah.
So what does this entail?
So the feature of paintball is that it's really hard to get new people in.
Okay.
Because when a person wants to start playing paintball, it's like the whole new world in front of him. He doesn't know where to go exactly. What is the sports paintball? What is the tactical paintball? What's the hobby paintball? What are the steps to take? What are the costs to pay? They don't know anything, and sometimes such kind of blogs and informational blogs are fearing people out, and they're not making the step to get into the paintball, and this way customers are going away from paintball, yeah, and we're not having like maybe another Oliver Lang this time, yeah, or I don't know who else, yeah. So that's why we have decided to collect all the important information in one app. The idea is that today, in the modern world, every person that wants to start doing something new, he looks into the App Store, looking for the app about this, downloads it, and goes with it, yeah? So there we have a couple of motivational texts about what paintball, what is tactical paintball, what is sports paintball. We have a couple of the educational elements over there. We have like an alphabet, a paintball alphabet with all the main features that people supposed to know about all autocockers, spool valves, rammers, paintballs, different companies, everything is there. So it's like the encyclopedia of paintball, and people download it, see everything, take the decision, and gonna go in paintball. That's the idea.
I love that, man. You know, I talk about with the guests all the time how I came across paintball back in 2006 when you were playing was on ESPN, the nationally televised, you know, because I wouldn't be playing right now if I didn't turn on the TV maybe and see that.
Wow, that's cool, because I never heard such kind of a story before, but that's the modern thing. You're 22 right now, so you have been like 16 back then, right?
Yeah, of course.
And ESPN helped the paintball industry to have you in.
Yeah,
fantastic.
man.
Wow,
Yeah.
fantastic.
And so, but see, nowadays, it's different now. And you're right. It's so I've never had a guest come on and talk about, you know, because let's be real, right? With our cell phones, half of everyone's day is spent looking at that cell phone. And who's going to come across paintball, right? So paintball needs to be living on those cell phones. I think that's great that you're diving into that digital app market to come across and to educate people outside of the sport.
Shall see, how it all works in the end, how many downloads gonna be, and if we're gonna have a good chance to translate it into English, because texts over there are kind of literature texts, and it's gonna be pain in the ass to translate them quick and professional enough. But we will try to, because like the English-speaking auditory and market is much bigger than the Russian, but we're just trying to make like a test step in Russian market, see the feedbacks and everything out there.
Yeah, and speaking of language, every time I've had a conversation with you, I'm blown away by, you know, how easily and fluently you speak in English. Has this always been this easy for you? Or?
No, no, never, ever. And once again, it's paintball and Russian Legion. So because I had a chance to travel with the team since I was like 16 or so, and elder guys in the team knew that I was studied at the special English school. I immediately become the translator, interpreter. And nobody cares if I feel fine to translate something. Nobody cares if I feel myself natural. They were just saying, Kirill, please go and speak with them. Try to explain them this. And I was going and explaining. And I believe that only by 2003 or maybe four, finally the word barrier was broken for me, and I realized that wow, I even started thinking in English. Yeah, and when you start thinking in English, that's when you receive like the fluent type of a speech.
When you fall asleep and you have a dream at night, is this in Russian language or is this in English?
Russian,
Okay.
Russian. It has never been. It has never been in English.
Because I think that's the testament to what language do you really speak is how are you speaking?
Wow, yeah, while you're sleeping, yeah.
That's so funny, man. So I want to ask you really quick. You know, you're from Moscow.
Yeah.
And big breaking news: the FIFA World Cup, the soccer tournament, is being held there. You know, this summer. I've never gotten the chance thus far to speak with someone from Russia and ask them, like, what does this mean? You know, for a country like Russia to host such a remarkable sporting event in your country.
I think that now even those people who were taking this decision back before 2014 knew what it means for them, believe me. Because back then, when Russia got the honor to hold the Olympics, then...
In Sochi.
Yeah. Then immediately got a fantastic chance to hold the World Cup in soccer once again in Russia. Those were the breakthroughs, like flying a man to the space, for sure. Yeah, for it could open country for different nations, for different people to show them like, hey, look, Moscow, Russia, all other cities are so open, interested, and different from what you used to see before. Yeah, but since 2014, so many things has changed. It looks like. We're going to have another Brezhnev, yeah, right now with Putin, because Brezhnev put country back in the USSR in a horrible situation by being kind of president for 20 plus years or so, or even less than 15 years. And it was enough to put the country down in a stupid situation, yeah, economically wise, future wise, everything wise. And right now we're having the same. I believe that with the modern political situation and so on and so forth, not many foreigners will come to look the World Cup of soccer in Russia. And for me, as the citizen of Moscow City, it's not a holiday. It's a trouble, because I can imagine what type of traffic jams I'll have to hit at this time.
Of course.
It's a pain in the ass. It's believe me, and the best part that you can't get the tickets for yourself. You can. They're either too expensive, or you just can't get them because they already been sold to somebody who you can't even imagine for who they have been sold. Because we know for sure that those tickets are not taken by the foreigners as they were supposed to be sold in the beginning. Of course, it's exciting. Maybe if we're gonna have a fantastic chance to visit one of the matches, we'll go into the match with my friends. But for sure, we don't have such kind of a hesitation to go there no matter what, because the World Cup of soccer is happening in Russia.
Really cool. You know, so I was expecting when I ask you that, it's a national holiday. Like, I can't wait for it to happen. But that's so funny that,
ask people from Sochi
how they felt about the Winter Olympics.
How they were living while the Olympics were happening out there.
Well, I'm glad that they called you up before FIFA to ask you how you'd feel about it before they host the tournament. Yeah. So speaking of sports, soccer in particular, or I know hockey is a big sport in Russia. Are you a sports fan yourself?
I told you I'm a big paintball nerd. I'm not a big fan of sports. Because hockey is popular, but I look like only World Cups and Olympics of hockey, like the top competitions, right? All the same about the soccer. I like to look only the European Cups and World Cups. I don't follow to the club games or anything like this, especially Russian club games, because you have never seen anything more boring than this shit.
Wow.
It is. Those guys are having like millions of dollars and don't even run the field. It's crazy, yeah. I actually love big tennis.
Okay.
Because it's one-on-one, it's intense, it's active, every time everything changes in a blink of an eye, and sometimes I compare the big tennis to paintball, because in big tennis, the one will win who make less mistakes. And I learned this thing from big tennis. I heard it while watching one of the matches, and it was like a huge open mind thing for me. That's wow. You don't need to beat the opponent. You just need not to make mistakes against this or that opponent. So it's easy like that. Yeah. And I like to play small tennis. Actually, it's another cool feature. The ping pong. Yeah.
So I'm asking you because, in particular, you know, in the sport of tennis, is there anyone in particular that you admire, their game or their work ethic?
Yeah, it's either Roger Federer, or Nadal, or Djokovic,
or just the three best players in tennis,
and fourth Murray, and there's another one, the guy from Argentina. That had back troubles with his back.
Sounds like me.
Sounds like me too. And maybe that's why I admire this guy so much. So he's taller than all other tennis players. He has been away like for 5 or 6 years. And last year he came back and beat one of the tops in semis or in quarters and managed to make the semis. And now he's one of the top 4 or 5 tennis players. It's amazing. I don't remember his last name, but I just remember that last year I admired him so much, yeah. And Federer is another person that I really admire because he's also like a well-aged sportsman.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And he is like dicing people out there.
Yeah, and making it look effortless when he's
exactly,
out there.
Exactly.
That's so funny. I was having this conversation with Archie, and you know, I was asking Archie Montemayor, you know, who do you admire outside of the sport? And he says, "Oh, I'm a tennis fan," you know, and I'm asking him about the different athletes that he likes. He said he liked Nadal because he's really scrappy. But me and him were getting in kind of like a deep conversation about a guy like Roger Federer, how he's aging so well, but also when you're watching him on TV, it's so effortless for him. It looks like he's not even trying, and his opponent is running left and running right and doing all these different things to try to compete to him.
That what's to be a veteran.
To be a veteran.
Yeah, you are in the right spot, and you know where this spot is.
Right.
And if you know that it's just 2 steps away, you're gonna just make these 2 steps away instead of making like 100 of steps to make in this position. Yeah, so that's it. That's actually how Brody feels, I believe. And Federer also in the end.
Yeah, and so, you know, with guys like that, I think you're right. Experience triumphs everything. And someone like yourself, you know, and I'm asking who you admire outside of the sport. From observing you, anytime I'm at a tournament, the thing I admire most about you is your focus. Every time, you know, I see you on the field about to go into a match, you know, the look in your eyes is very focused. And the preparation that I believe that you put in before you step out on that field is second to none. Has this always been this way for you? This laser focus that you possess and this preparation that is second to none, or you know, was this learned from you from the program of the Russian Legion?
It's a personal feature because Russian Legion program is not preparing you to focus your mind or getting ready before the game. It's just the experience. Yeah, you just go through so many games and matches that in the end you work out this or that type of the focus in yourself. Yeah, for me everything is so easy because I'm in charge of so many features that sometimes I'm not even thinking about the game before starting to play the game. Yeah, and maybe that's why sometimes games are going so easy. Yeah, when you don't think about them too much, too hard, so on and so forth. Yeah, but when I have a chance not to think about some aside things, but I have a chance to think only about the game. Usually, I just play like a mind kata when I just use like. I shall try to explain you. In every action in paintball, like attacking to the corner, you have like 3 variations what the opponent's gonna do, and you just play those things in your mind. That's it, and you set up triggers for yourself. As soon as you see this, you need to do this. As soon as you see that, you need to do that. then when you start getting good with this, you start adding some new information. If I lose this guy, how I need to react in this situation. If I lose that guy, how I need to react in this situation. So it's much better actually than listening to the music or something else.
I got you.
It's because when you work through in your mind those things, you don't spend time to react on those things in the game.
The importance of the mental aspect of the sport, you know, in a combination with your body as well, keeping up. As far as like a percentage goes, how much of that do you value of the mental? Is this 90% value on mental versus maybe a 10% value on being in proper condition? Or is this something you spend most of your time on, the mental aspect of the game? Or is it equal?
That's a hard question because paintball is such kind of a sport where paintball itself,
Yes.
the small paintball, chooses if it's gonna shoot you or gonna fly away.
Yeah.
It's always gambling, and even if you're prepared, even if you're quick enough, this paintball gonna hit you, and you can't do anything with this. Yeah, it's not like boxing. In boxing, if you receive a nice hook, it's a nice hook. Yeah. And if you're ready to throw a nice hook, you're ready to throw a nice hook. In paintball, it's a little bit different. But I would spread at the highest competitive level of paintball, the percentage is 60 to your skill and 40 to your mind. Yeah, still here, we are athletes, and you can't be big, you can't be slow. You need to be a nice, active, fit, prepared person. And then if you are like that, you need to build over those 40% of the mind focus and things. And you're going to be like 100% off sharp paintball player for sure overall.
In your career, you know, you've been saying you've been playing paintball for 18 years. Just like anyone, you know, if this were to be a martial art, you start off with a white belt and you work yourself up to a black belt, so to speak. Was there a moment in time where you felt a sense of control in your game? Was there a turning point where you said like, okay, I'm here now and I know what I'm doing in this situation?
First of all, during such kind of a long period of time, you have waves.
Okay.
Once you feel it, once you control it, and then you don't control anything. That once again, you manage to be on the top of a wave, you start controlling, you start understanding, you build up some new features into your game, and then once again, there is a low part of the wave, and you don't feel anything, don't understand anything, whatever you do, it doesn't work, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but yeah, I remember such kind of a period of time. 2001, 2002, 2003 in US, I had no clue what to do out here because I was slow, I was fat. It was really hard, and I didn't understand the game at all. Yeah. Then suddenly, 2004, I realized that we can, if you're quick enough and if you're fit enough, you can beat Europeans at least. 2005, I realized that if you're quick, if you have the experience, you can beat Americans. And in 2006, I understood finally that if you foresee some situations in a game, you can control those situations and you can react quicker in them. Yeah, that's when actually 2006 I started to foresee things, and I started to be one step ahead of the opponents. That was like a breaking through point. Yeah, 2006.
2006.
Actually. Yeah.
And did you win a tournament that season? Many, right?
Hell yeah, we took 3 major NXL events and World Cup in 2006, and the big difference that in 2005 we were beating all NXL teams and we lost to Trauma in the World Cup, and that was the mental issue because we thought, okay, we Trauma, who are those guys? Yeah, then. Come on, and they beat us 2-0. Yeah, that was the mental feature. And I believe that in 2006, like, the whole team managed to make this step forward in understanding that you must foresee, no matter what. And it was not, I believe it was not only my personal breakthrough then,
In your career, you know, in a time period like this in 2006, you know, you have these different waves and you're taking your game to another level. Is there any person, any mentor in particular that, you know, maybe you reflect on that helped guide your game to the next level?
Once again, in different waves, there were different people. In the first wave, for sure, that was Sam Samuilov. It's our coach from Russian Legion, and he was the guy who prepared the third generation of Russian Legion and prepared it really well in a new manner, in a new way, and everything. This person was a huge boost for me. Then, by 2009, and actually during all other years, my boss, Alexander Turando, the director of Russian Legion, he's the guy with enormous experience in all spheres of life, and this person becomes like a huge mentor for me. And by 2017 and 16, Meti Marshall, by his comments and watch over of the game, become like a huge master for me. Yeah, like a sensei. That was so interesting to watch your game and listen to his comments and realize what type of mistakes you're doing and realize what you're actually supposed to do. It's just another level of communication and learning, actually, because there you have a coach who is standing over you and knocking your head and telling you what to do exactly. Next step is kind of like your dad, who you can always come to and ask, hey, what I should do in this or that situation. And all at the same time, it's a totally different person. The only thing that connects you is that you both in paintball for ages, and you don't even see him. You just listen to his voice and understand what's happening and what you should do with your game.
Yeah, I got you. You know, and talking about those like a Roger Federer in tennis, one thing that you took away from him that really helped you is make the least amount of mistakes. And anyone who makes the least amount of mistakes ends up winning, you know, on the biggest stage. From these mentors, anything in particular that was taught to you that sticks out to you? Any particular lesson that you hold for yourself?
Yeah, that was a huge lesson when I have received an injury, a broken Achilles tendon, and I actually wanted to stop playing paintball and become like coach or somebody else.
When did this happen?
2013.
Okay.
And Durando told me that I can't step away from the field. I must enter the field no matter what. Otherwise, I'll be afraid of any sports, any type of the activity, any type of the physical activity, and I will not become strong. Yeah, and that was a huge thing to fight over the injury, get back, and start winning again. That's experience of a lifetime that you can put into any other type of a life situation. You must fight. Yeah, you can't step away. It's just a general feature of life, and that what builds up a personality.
That's very powerful, man. I love hearing about that. You know, as athletes, we all face adversity.
Exactly.
You know, at different points, and there are times you want to quit, and it's like, where do you search to find that motivation to get you through that? Because think about it. You know, if you were to quit in 2013 and not be playing, you know, 2017, this past season, Russian Legion might not have a win in a tournament like Atlantic City. And, you know, you're telling me this is the first time your team won since the year 2011. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And taking me through that, because I want to talk about, you know, the 2018 Russian Legion team, you know, this coming season. What was that like this past season in 2017? Because that's a long period of time since you guys had won a national tournament. What was unique about this win? Because, you know, I'd imagine you're doing this with a whole different crew. You know, the kids are coming up and they're kind of coming into their own. And
we got French tauntauns.
So this win for you, what stands out to you in particular this past season?
Well, actually, here is another type of life knowledge is about what actually defines the sportsman from an average person. Sportsman can set up a clear plan, a clear goal, and reach it. And that's what actually the team owner, Sergey, has been teaching us every time. He's from the financial sphere, and for his type of the activity is very important to create strategic maps and follow the KPIs and all that features from the economy. So he actually put this type of the planning, he installed this type of a planning into the Russian Legion, and that's how we have been working since 2004. But in the beginning of 2014, we set up a 3 years plan for the team.
Wow.
When 2014, we bring up new kids, we start playing with them. We need to get out from the preliminary games, and we cannot go back into the semi-pro division. The challenger division. 2015, we must get to Sundays at least once or two times, and we need to integrate French as well. 2016, we actually supposed to be top 2 in semi-professional division in Europe, and we supposed to go out to Sundays every time in NXL. And 2017, logically, if we do everything correctly in the past years, we must be top 4 in NXL. We must take one major event over there, and we must be top 3 in EXL Pro Division, where we were supposed to not to buy the spot, but to get into the spot by winning 2016 season.
And did you meet your goals all along the way?
Yes.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yes, and that's when the economy meets up with sports and dedication and all of that features.
That's unbelievable. I talk to people all the time. The power of writing something down. You know, if you have a goal in life,
writing and sharing it with all people who will be doing this. It's because it helps to be at the one page and ask people like, hey, we agreed about that. What the hell are you doing? Yeah, let's go. Here's the KPI. Remember about the KPI? Follow it. Yeah, it helps. It really helps.
And well, that's got to be one thing, you know, to write something down and to have a goal, but to actually have the feeling of seeing it come to life has to be pretty cool.
It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling, but it starts to be a little bit not so bright as it used to be back in those days with those victories that we used to have. Yeah, because here you just put all of yourself in. Of course, you have been through it, and you realize that you made this victory not for yourself but for the new kids. Yeah, you see what it means for them in their eyes, and you receive a quite different type of feelings about that. Probably like parents are having nice times when they see how their kids doing these or that things correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in writing those goals down, there's a process that goes into it. You don't just wake up tomorrow and you're holding the gold trophy up after winning an Atlantic City tournament. I'm fascinated with the process of the program of the Russian Legion. I think the approach it's very technical from an outside observation, and it's very disciplined as well, is what I would say. Can you take me a little bit into the preparation that you put forth in Moscow, some of the training that you do that you think allows you to win some of the biggest tournaments, right? Because they say pressure doesn't affect the prepared, and I say going into every tournament, I always feel the Russian Legion is one of the most prepared teams out there.
Time-wise, we are because we spend most of the
take me into it, man.
Most
your weekly
of the
routine.
time at the field. So, weekly routine is simple. Monday, you come to the practice at 11. You warm up from 11 till 11:30. Then you load up, and then from 12 till 3, you do technical drills. It's Monday. It's just technical practice. Yeah. Then you have like 10 to 15 minutes break, and then you go for an hour of fitness. Fitness, Monday running drills, Wednesday running drills, Friday running drills, sprints most over for the powerful run and everything. Tuesday fitness is more for the upper body, Thursday upper body, and a little bit about the legs. Yeah. Tuesday paintball practice. We do not the individual things, but we start acting like in pairs and in threes, yeah, down the sides. Wednesday we do the team breakouts. Thursday we usually play against some team, yeah, and on Friday we invite some additional players to play 5-on-5 against ourselves, where we can modulate this or that exact situations, and that's how we break down the week. And if we talk about the year. Of course, in the beginning of the year, we spend more time for technical drills to get used to, for example, new guns, to get used to the new bunkers, all that features. And closer to the end of the year, we start making much more team drills for the communication skills, for the team activity skills, so on and so forth. Yeah, and fitness-wise, we do the majority of hard work in the beginning of the season, before the season starts, and then during the season, we just lower and lower amounts of fitness pressure to give players much more powers and more time to recover before the important events.
How much of a factor is it living in a cold environment in the off season? Do you see this as a disadvantage for you, having to play? Because I know I'm from New York, so I grew up playing indoor paintball. Do you see this as a disadvantage, having to play indoor, or does it not matter because you get to come to the tournaments a week before and practice in Oceanside, California before the Las Vegas tournament? How much of a factor would you say it is?
I would say it's a big factor when you don't have the indoors. That's a big factor. But when you have it indoors, finally, you can spend the same amount of time at the field as the guys from California and from other warm parts of the world, right? And all at the same time, in indoors, it's really hard to communicate because of the echoes and all that stuff. But if suddenly you manage to communicate well there, imagine what's going to happen to you when you get out to the open field and start communicating with your buddies. Believe me, when you pay attention to this and when you work on that, it's amazing when you see the difference. Yeah,
it's very cool. Let's talk roster changes. I saw that the Tauntauns of France, they're coming back and they're playing in the semi-professional division. So, cats like Axel Godin won't be playing with you guys this season. That guy's nasty. When I watch him play in the Snake, he's a really good player.
He's an amazing natural Snake player, like small guy, well fitted, amazing, with a great head on his shoulders. Fantastic. From circus.
Oh, really?
He's from circus. Yeah, he used to go into the circus school, and he can.
So me and you need to get on that trapeze.
Oh, trapeze, backflips, trickle flips, all flips.
It's so funny you say that because in playing in Europe this past season, I always look over at him, and he's doing the handstand outside. He's doing the handstand before his matches. I've been trying for a year and a half now, and I can't get the handstand down.
Stop doing this. Maybe that's why I have back troubles.
But so yeah, I mean, with these roster changes, how do you see this affecting you? How do you see this playing out?
Was natural. Yeah, since we had a clear plan for 4 years, since 14 till 17, we knew that we have to go separate ways with the French part of the team. And the trick is that we're not speaking about them as about Tauntauns. We speak about them as a French part of the team, because throughout years, those guys proved that we can rely upon them. They understood that they can rely upon us, and we have created a fantastic chemistry out there. Yeah, but by the end of 2017, when both our parts understood that we have reached those goals that we all set in front of each other, we understood that we just need to go separate ways right now, because Russian Legion finally achieved a squad that one of our goals in those 4 years was to achieve our own squad, first of all. And Tauntauns came to the situation when the majority of their players, like well-leveled players, have to go their own ways, and they knew by the middle of the last season that this year they supposed to rebuild everything. Yeah, when I'm talking about them, I'm saying of course about Tavares and about Axel and about their coach Pascal. Those guys knew it right away, and I really respect what they've done, because I think that Russian Legion was supposed to do something like that back in 2010 when we took second cup. Well, we had some troubles with players who wanted to do their own stuff. Yeah. And that's how we managed to be in such kind of a deep process of a decompression, like till 2014-15, when we finally started to go up again. And Tauntauns did it in a perfect way. They took the European Cup, and now they're free to do whatever they want.
That's awesome.
To spend as much time as they have to bring up new kids, to build up new team, to invest as much time as they can in this. And they're lucky. I just love this move, because once again, I would make this move back in those days in 2010 to avoid all the troubles that we had to go through till 2014, actually.
That's like a perfect relationship. I don't know if there's ever such a clean split that happens. You know, I'm happy he went his way. You know, I'm happy, you know, we did it together. It all worked out. That doesn't happen too often.
It's how you said you need to write down things on the paper.
We're going to break up 3 years from now. I just want you to let you know. And we have to have all the success before that 3 years happen.
Yeah, kind of.
You know, and some of these young guys on the team in particular, who are you looking for to step up and replace these iconic French players that have left the team and now are doing their own thing?
Easy. Tavares has been like a great, super smart weapon at the field, taking his own decisions, fulfilling the game plans, being here and there, being like a fantastic snap shooter and gunfighter. Now we have Dan back, Denis Golev. He is another veteran from the team already. Actually, I'm from the second generation. He's from third generation of the Russian
There's a
Legion
lineage
players.
to the squad.
Yeah. But he had to go through like a crazy injury last year. Like the whole of his knee was broken. Like in the beginning of the 2017 season, we were lacking him a lot, and now he's back, and now he's playing at the Tavares position, and we really needed such kind of a machine gunner at the back position with the great game knowledge, with the great field overwatch, with the great gun skill conditions. As for the Axel, of course, we need Leo back, because Smotrov,
I love that guy.
He is turning 20 years old this year only.
Jeez.
It's crazy, but I must admit that it's a feature of the modern paintball. We finally, like paintball as one piece, finally can create fantastic players in 2 years. And I believe that sooner or later we gotta have an ability to create players in just a 1 year. Yeah.
So in talking about modern paintball, you've been playing this for a long time, you know, 18 years now, since the year 2000. How have you seen the game evolve, you know, as it is right now from when you started playing it? Is it really fast right now? Is that how you would explain it? Or, you know, what stands out to you in the format?
It's about the amount of repetitions that you do a day. Because back in the days, it was like 10-man, it was 7-man. How many points you played?
In a 7-man match?
Yeah. Not much.
Yeah, definitely not as much as the X-Ball.
Not much. And if you're a paintball player that develops from 2001 till 2005, you have, let's say, 100 points played. Yeah. But when you are in a modern paintball, you can have those 100 points played in 1 year. That's the difference. That's what X-Ball brought to paintball, actually. And I believe this is the secret of like boosting some talents out. And about the industry, when Russian Legion was picking up the new kids in 2014, all of those kids already got their own equipment. It's another cool part, because before that, in 2000, in 2001, we didn't have our own equipment. Yeah, very rare we had our own equipment, but now kids already have the equipment and they know how to hold the gun already. They know where the barrel is. Yeah, and this feature and the amount of the repetitions, and here you go, we can boost up players really quick.
I hear you, man. Like I said, when I came across the sport on a nationally televised scale, in 2006 on ESPN, I'm watching the X-ball format. Hypothetically, let's say the Olympics decides to make paintball a sport. No,
Never.
don't say that.
It's dirty. Our sports is super
Don't
dirty.
say that.
It's just my personal opinion. I believe that step that paintball really needs to make is to fight with kind of the motor sports or some action sports like bike riders, like I don't know, bicycle riders and all that stuff. Because paintball is so much more interesting. But Olympics is too far. It is too far. It's from another universe. Olympics gonna pick up better the curlingists instead of paintball players or chess players too. I'm not taking away the masterminds from chess guys, but come on, chess is also a sport. It is a sport. It is a sport.
Okay, so we're downplaying the Olympics right now and not giving it all the credit that that I value it with as being the Olympic Games. What format would you like to see for paintball on the biggest stage? Is this 5-on-5 for someone tuning in for the first time that's never observed it?
It's 5-on-5 for sure. It's like a modern format that we're playing right now. But as you know, all the popular sports are having one point of attraction. That focus point. Yeah, it's a ball, or how do they call it in hockey? The puck. The puck, or whatever. Whatever. That's how it's really easy for the standard observer who just turns on TV to watch what's happening out there, right? Why extreme sports are so interesting? Because they show like the big elements, the big features, really close features, and people are doing like crazy things out there, So why don't paintball is making the same? All what we need to do is to create a format that NXL and Go Sports are probably trying to do right now. But explain me, please. I don't understand this. Why in Students League they have different color of bunkers? Backline is of that color, semi-line in another color, and red color is for the key lines bunker where the player is supposed to be. That
different zones.
Exactly. That would explain to the observers so much what these guys are shooting for. They're not to shoot each other from a back positions. They're trying to take the key bunkers. Here in XL and EXL, all bunkers are of the same color, and for a standard person that turns on TV, it's really hard to understand what these guys are fighting for, right? There is no ball, there is no puck. Okay, show them the key lines that player is supposed to take. It would make things so easier. And then second part is with the big pictures, Cena is supposed to invent this for sure. Like cameras that for example, Gary Baum is saying it a lot, that with all his experience of watching the game from a side, he knows exactly when player is going to go and bunker somebody. All the same for the camera guys. They stand there for ages and they can see, okay, now Alex Goldman wants to go and bunker this guy. Okay, preparation number 1, get ready. Okay, he goes. Preparation number 2, and we have a clear, beautiful picture of Alex Goldman killing somebody out there, right? And with these two small features, the entertainment level of paintball and the level of the understanding of paintball would be quite bigger on the picture. And we gonna attract much more Alex's Gray this way, instead of just the standard ESPN format that you used to see back then.
I love that, man. I think those are two really good insights into how to grow the sport, into relating to someone that's watching it for the first time. That point of view, camera angle, and also those different zones that can track. Because I think you're right. It's almost like someone that watches football. Sorry if I'm saying American football
American
for the first
football.
time.
Okay,
Not every play can be a touchdown.
Exactly.
Right? Not every play can be a home run. Not every play can
Exactly.
be Kirill splitting down the field, and bunkering someone. It's about the first down. It's about getting those 10 yards. A big deal in paintball. It's about getting into the snake. It's about taking different
key positions. Of the break, not of the break. And people gonna see the strategy, okay? Now these guys are attacking. Oh, wow, they're taking the risky move and they're the key bunker of the break. Now they're playing defensive position. What these guys are doing, they're inviting the others to take those positions, trying to hold the lanes. It will explain everything. Because me, as the Russian person for whom football is a soccer, when I turn on the football, American football, I like it. I like helmets. I like the armor that players are wearing out there. I like that strategy activity, but I understand nothing.
Yeah.
But, of course, the format helps me a lot. They have those big red dots showing
and yellow lines to show you the
if
first
they
downs.
reached the down, if
Yeah.
they didn't reach the down, how many more repetitions they have to do it. It explains, but look into the Go Sports. It's hard to understand. But it's a perfect video. Yeah, it's the best videos that we've got in many years so far. Created inside of paintball, for paintball, and maybe for the outside use too.
Those are really good insights, man. The wall was removed this year.
Yeah.
That's a big change. How are you liking the field? How it's playing thus far, and how do you see your team playing on this new Vegas field layout that was just released? How are you guys liking it?
Simple. With wall, the game has become stupid. You can be really quick at the key line, really close to the opponents, and you have like a nice chances to kill somebody. Now, to get to the key line, you have to work it out. But all at the same time, now you can start making a very interesting moves down the sides because there's no wall anymore, and for even opponents, it's really hard to get the key positions and be close to you and control your moves out there. So I believe game will become much more interesting this time. Of course, trades at the wall were great to look. Yeah, great to look. But once again, we were missing like big shots out there. Yeah, okay, one was running around, killing somebody. You looking at this from a far distance, it was not super entertaining. Yeah, only it was entertaining only for the person who was in such kind of a situation. Yeah, that's entertaining because you understand what stands behind that, what type of feelings are in the head of a person that stays there and not and afraid even to breathe, not to give a chance to the guy on another side of a wall to hear him. Yeah, and come and bunker him around. Yeah. Now everything is going to be much more interesting.
Good. I'm excited to see how that plays out tomorrow, especially the center of the field, and I'm excired for it.
I'm excited too because change is everything. Yeah, if we want to make paintball make it interesting for the players, if we want to make it interesting for ourselves, if we want to make it interesting for the industry and for the video, we need to change things for sure out there.
I got you, man. I asked some of my guests, any predictions, any bold predictions you have this upcoming season for your team?
For my team, looks like we are at the edge of breaking new standards in the team. I'm crossing my fingers to let it happen. Yeah, because finally it looks like back in 2006, the whole team is ready to evolve as a one piece. It's really important for overall results to be for everyone at the one page. When one person is looking aside and just shaking his head and saying, yes, I'm agree with this, but in his head, he's in a different team already, you're never gonna reach the high results. Right now, we are at the same page, and we had like really hard times actually during the winter season here. The team owner, he is in US right now, and it's not a secret that we have some salaries out there. Yeah, and we're not just playing for fun because for example, for me, it's a full-time job out there in the team, right? But he had some troubles with the money transfers and with all that features. Our budget was cut of the team. That's why we had to switch the sponsors, actually, because ProShar advised us like a really good deal, because they are also from Moscow and they're looking for the US market, and they making like a really good product because their paint is the most popular paint in Europe in EXL events. And all our team didn't receive the salaries for 2 months to come over here.
Oh, wow.
And we all made it because we love the sports, we love each other, we take care about the Tarando, about the director. We understand troubles that team owner is having right now, and we can take it because once again, we love the sports, we are the sportsmen, and we know what it means to hold the team for so many years, and we know what is to manage the team for so many years with so many people involved right now. Because, for example, one of the best features of Russian Legion that old players, if they proved that they are with a team, they never get kicked out. Yeah, they become coaches. They still with the team. They still receiving some money. They can leave. They can be in sports that they love. They can be valuable persons in there. So it's kind of also like a social project that the Russian Legion is for the players, for all the generations of players that are still involved.
I got you, man. And then as far as the team goes, as far as you,
Mm-hmm.
you've been doing this for 18 seasons at the highest level. What's keeping you going? What is motivating you in particular to still want to play at the top level?
It's in every person, I believe, because like the competition is a really important part of every man, and it's really bad when you start to compete inside of your family. It's much better when you compete somewhere else, where you compete, where you reach goals, where you become somebody. Plus, all at the same time, the station and team is always so different from year to year, and every year is a different year. Paintball is changing, industry is changing, and if you follow all of those things, it's super interesting to be in a paintball. Like, for example, for the Formula One lovers, yeah. For example, I have friends back in Moscow who love to watch Formula One. I don't understand what they're watching. Yeah, they just you just get a beers, sit in front of the TV, and look how guys driving cars quick, so what? Yeah, but when you sit with them and ask them those questions, they start to explain like, hey, this year they have like a new formats for tires, they have created like new cars, out of 2 liters of the engines they create like 400 horsepowers. So, and Formula One becomes like a quite different story right away, because you open up like a really deep waters out there with all the technical features, with all the regulations that they change, with everything, with new time formats. So the same about paintball for 100%, because our sports is not just an extreme active sports, it's a technical sport, because we got markers, we got production that creates paintballs. If you talk about paintballs, it's a fantastic chemistry, and all professionals know how to pick up the right paints, because for the majority of players, okay, that's a paintball. Okay, that's a paintball. I put it in my gun, I make a shot. For pros, it's not like that. You need to get the correct bore size. You need to get the right patch. You need to understand what type of a paint you need to use for the cold weather conditions in the morning and warm weather conditions during the day. If paints that you were supposed to use for the warm weather conditions isn't cold enough, you buy a fridge and put this paint in the fridge and make it cold enough. It's an endless process, and if you go into it, you never can stop. It's an amazing world, believe me.
I love that, man. Your fascination with the sport is keeping you motivated to keep doing it, dude. That's really awesome. One thing I want to say though, really quick, because we're wrapping up this episode, that I admire about you is you stay with the same team, man. Throughout all these years, you've stuck with the Russian Legion. I know there's athletes, you know, the Kobe Bryants of the world, the Tom Brady's of the world, you know, in America that haven't left their team, and through thick and thin, through all the success that they've had, they've stuck around. You know, they haven't switched up, and they've rode the ship as far as it's going to go. What does Russian Legion mean to you that you've stuck with them this long, when I'm sure you could have had opportunities to go elsewhere?
It's a mixture of the facts. But the main one and the primary one is that at some period of time, team becomes a true family for me, because I had some troubles in my family with my mom and dad broke, and I found like great fathers over here. Yeah, the guys, the mentors who were the elder man and can guide me and talk to me and rely upon me, and that's another feature of a man, to be useful for somebody. Yeah, and how I can leave people who were making fantastic things for me while I was at the university. Yeah. How? Yeah, because they were helping me a lot, and Sergey and Tarendo, and they helped me during my operation. They spent like lots of money to recover me and bring me back. How I can go away from these people? Know how? Yeah, that's how relations are happening, and that's how stocking is happening. Yeah, and then of course you talk about the job, then you talk about the involvement. Then you talk about the self-identification with these or that type of a jersey, let's say, yeah, or like colors.
Your identity.
Yeah, identity. And at some period of time, you realize that, goddamn, I am responsible for Leo. Yeah, I am responsible for Polyakov. Yeah, how can I leave those guys? And you become, you transform into another role. And that's how it's happening, actually. Those guys can travel around who doesn't have such kind of relations and can easily switch those, yeah. But it's, once again, it's a personalities. I believe 2 types of personalities, yeah. Maybe 3 types of personalities. Surfers, stalkers, yeah. And, I don't know, people who are afraid to change things, yeah. That's it, up to me.
Wow, man, I really admire that loyalty, and I can only imagine, you know, how it feels to have your own successes, but what it's like to know that you're responsible for someone else's success. Like these kids that are coming up the ranks now, and they, you know, they're going to talk about you one day the way you talk about those coaches that helped you get to the level that you're at this point in your career.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. One reflection question for you.
Yeah.
I'm 22 years old now. You're 32 years old. I wish I knew everything right now that you know at the age of 32. The funny thing about life is I'm going to have to experience those things
exactly.
for myself.
You never got to knew it. Yeah. And you got to make your own mistakes.
You got to make your own mistakes, you know? If you could go back and talk to the young you and have a conversation with him, what are you going to tell him?
I would tell myself not to make stupid mistakes in personal life. Yeah, not to make those mistakes for sure, because those things messed me up so much that didn't mess me a couple of my injuries that I got. Yeah, back at those days. Yeah, and I'm actually a lucky person not to make like huge mistakes back then. I'm a huge lucky person. But yeah, I would give myself a couple of advices in personal life for sure. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, and I would also give myself an advice not to jump over the snake during the winter time as for the practice, because since that time I started to have troubles with my back. Yeah, I would tell myself that's, even if your coach is telling you to do this, that it's the best drill that you should do now. What for? You're not a snake player. Get away from it. Yeah.
That's so funny, man. And for these young cats that are coming up, any advice you want to leave them with in their journeys to be playing paintball at the highest level?
It's a super easy advice. Let's say that you are a 14 years old kid, and suddenly you realize that you want to go into some sports. You like to watch basketball, you like to watch hockey, you like to watch soccer, maybe football. But you're too late to become a star in those sports. Because to become a star there, you're supposed to start playing like at the year of 6 or 7 or 8 years old. And if you haven't gone there, that's it. You waste. Yeah, you're not gonna be there anymore. Yeah, and here you can see either curling. You can start making curling, bowling, and chess play.
App development,
exactly. It brings money to some guys in Silicon Valley, of course. But we're talking about sports, right? And you can choose sports of paintball. And here we got the best equipment, the coolest equipment from all other sports. Yeah, look at the shooters, at the sci-fi shooters, at any shooters, and look at the paintball sports player. What do you see? You don't need to cosplay anything. You are this star trooper that can go out there, do some crazy flips, dive-ins, dodging balls, snapshots, laser shots, all of that. And paintball gives you this chance to experience all that real life, and it gives you a chance to become a star, to play at the World Cup, to push the last buzzer that give your team victory and be in the history. It's crazy. Only paintball is given this opportunities to kids of this age. And it's really important to mention that it gives opportunity not only to the kids. If you're grown up and you just spend your time playing, you trying to find out what type of a hobby you want to do. Either you're going to play hockey, like with some old guys, or you want to go and shoot people legally. What are you going to do? Go shoot people.
Damn, man. I got goosebumps right now.
Yeah. I also worked out this idea while flying. Flying is a good period of time that you can spend with yourself and think about some things.
Yeah, man. Well, it's been a blast having you on. I admire the career that you've had and all that you've done for the sport. I really look forward to everything that you're putting out now, whether it is the app, whether it is the YouTube channel, the success that you have to look forward to with Russian Legion. I'll be following it all. Thank you so much for your time, man. It's been great.
Alex, you made the first innovational step forward to create such kind of the part of a paintball, because right now you are the part of a paintball world, radio-wise. Yeah, with voices, with such kind of a format, and I really respect that, and I'm super honored to finally have a chance to do that, because you've been chasing me last year. And
I don't stop, brother.
And suddenly I realized, man, what am I doing? I need to do that. Yeah, I need to do that with respect to your person. Yeah, and I'm super happy that it finally happened. And you're doing. You need to understand that you're doing like a really cool thing.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm not stopping anytime soon. So it is what it is, man. I think you focus on what you can control in life and just keep going with everything.
Yeah, but I want to give you one advice.
Please do.
My YouTube channel is not giving me any money.
You're not monetizing.
My app is going to be for free.
Okay.
And you're supposed to think of your project as of the hobby and of the process of the art that you're making. Yeah, that's that will help you a lot, believe me. Because if you make something just to get money and suddenly you realize that you're not getting money,
Right.
you get frustrated and you stop it.
Right.
But here you making the project that for some kids as you gonna have those goose bumps, as you said, yeah, and will have a strong desire to go and play paintball. And maybe we're gonna have another Oliver Lang or somebody else.
You never know, man.
Yeah.
All right. Where can we find you on social media?
On social media, I do have my Facebook page, and I do have my V contact page. It's kind of Russian analog of Facebook, but I'm basically the guy who stands behind the Russian Legion Instagram and Facebook page, and I don't have my personal Instagram because I'm in charge of a Russian Legion Instagram, and I don't have time just to have my own out there.
Yeah, very cool. Maybe you could spell your name for people out there so they know where to go find you.
I'm Kirill with double L in the end, Prihidni. Everywhere I letters when you hear E.
Very cool, man. Well, best of luck to you this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Best of luck to Russian Legion. I'm looking forward to see what you guys do out there on the field. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of the AG21 Show. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys soon.
See you. Thank you.
Hey, guys. Hope you enjoyed getting to know Kirill on this past episode of the AG21 Show. I really enjoyed getting the chance to interview him, and seeing another side to him off the field in this type of setting was really cool. And I really admired the passion he spoke with about why he plays and how special the opportunity is to compete at the highest stage of the sport. And it really reminded me of why I fell in love with the game once upon a time, and I'm sure why you did as well. So stick around because there's plenty more coming your way.